Howdy y'all, and welcome back to the channel for some more tips with Zbrush with 3D printing in mind for miniature statues or something like that. So today we're starting with the demo head project. You can pull that up in Lightbox or use the comma key, open that up, and I just have this Zbrush demo head Zbrush project. Close that out. Now, the first thing, since we're not going to be sculpting on this for right now, is we want to go ahead and we're going to delete the lower levels. You can do this on your model or not. It's just going to make it easier because we're focusing on the horns. So we're going to make some quick and easy horns to start with. So we're going to open up the brush, do IMM primitive, and you can grab whichever sphere you want. All right, and we're going to be mirroring this over later on. So we'll start with getting the shape. Oops. So then with the move brush, you're just going to kind of twist and pull it into shape. All right. So real quick, we have that horn how we want it. From there, you can either go into the gizmo. So click up here, and then with this gear selected, because the mask, you can do remesh by Dynamesh, and it's just going to do that single mesh. Okay. And we don't want to. Another way that you can do this is we're going to reset and then go to Gizmo 3D. We're going to take this horn and we're going to split it. Okay. So now we have the horn right here. It's a separate subtool, so we can do whatever we want. From there, I like to have it separate. Go into geometry, use Dynamesh, do that and project. That way, as I'm going and making changes, I can just control drag and it will re-Dynamesh. Okay, so just smooth this out. Okay. Now let's say you don't like this curve very much, so what you can do is you can come up to the move brush, but instead of having the gizmo selected, turn off the gizmo and you have the transpose tool. This took me forever to learn, so hopefully by sharing with you guys, save you some time. Having this selected, you can come to the middle, hold the Alt key, and you can change where the bend is and how it looks. So let's go with something a little more wonky like this. But I don't like this straight line, so we're going to come over here, and you can even come to the different angles and adjust at that point what you want. Okay. Now another thing you can do is go to your base point, and you want to make sure that this portion of it is where you do not want to move, and this is where you do. Because you once again hold Alt. I'm going to make sure that this is right in the middle. Now I can extend this, and it's going to cause it to warp from how it is. I actually like that a lot. Okay. I'm going to re-Dynamesh so that our geometry is pretty even. Okay, from there, you can start adding some more of the detail things you want. And don't worry about this right here for now. We're going to be taking this and merging it into the skull just like an actual horn would. So I like to go into the standard brush. So B and S. And where is it? No, it's up here anyway, so we'll do that. Okay, and then I really like to use this alpha to hurry and put in kind of these ridges real. Okay, it's just a fast way to add some landmarks to go off of. So then with that off, we'll actually put this alpha on. We're going to start defining them. Okay, I talked about it in some of my other videos, but we're going to turn jitter on just to give it a little more organic look. So go up to stroke, and you're going to do modifier right here, stroke jitter. I want to go to 0.5, and from here you'll see me, or you won't see me doing that because I have a hotkey for it. I use it a lot. Size up, and now we're just going to add some landmarks as well as push in some spots. Okay, and you can go as detailed with it as you want, but as usual, keep in mind what it's going to look like. So the model is going to be about 3 inches tall. I zoom out until it's 3 inches tall on my screen, and I can see this, but these little divots are kind of lost, so I don't need to go much further with those. But if it's going to be a large scale, like a quarter scale, about right there, you're going to see more of them. So make sure that you are once again going in and out with your sizing on your screen so you can make it look right. Another thing that you can do really fun to add some texture to it is if you go into clay buildup, so B, C, clay buildup right here, and that would be B to pull that up faster. Go to spray and then have this on here. From there, it's going to make a random texture where it's more gritty. Okay, so if we wanted to make a ram's horn to where it has those segments, from that point, I'm just going to use the dim standard. So B, D right here, and then S for dim standard. And I'm going to put in these divots where this is supposed to be. Okay. And I want jitter off for this. You can keep it on. I like to have it off just so that it's a little bit faster and more defined. Okay. And now we have those segments. See come out. So with the standard brush and the alpha off, we can come through and build where we want the overlap up to where we have these ridges. And now that I'm starting to get the geometry more lined out, I want to re-dynamesh. That way it's a little more smooth. And if it starts to get too crazy, then Control D and divide it so you can have more geometry to work with and make it a little smoother. In the end, when you're ready to if you want this to look right, even though it's going to be bigger data file, you want to have it to where it's going to look right when it's smooth, and you're not going to have, or when it prints, so it'll be smooth and you won't have these ridges right here. Okay, so we have these. So we're going to build this up, and we're going to carve that in. So we have this right here, and this again is a quick and dirty way to show you how to add these textures for what you might want to 3D print as far as a horn. Okay, just go through and use the standard brush, push and pull. Needs to get the texture on. Now, once I have this, I'll show you another fun one. So if you come over with the standard brush, go to alpha and use alpha 60. Crank up your draw size just a little bit. Make sure you have enough geometry for this. You can come through and with sub on or pressing alt, you can add these textures and it looks really good. And as long as I'm doing a big size like this, those will actually show up. If you're not sure they're going to show up, crank up the intensity. And then from there, these are deeper to where they will show on any resin printer, or even some of the FDM printers now can pull off some pretty awesome texture work. So, and you can even do the opposite side and create some external ridges. So yeah, I do like that. So at this point, we're going to use our move tool, and I like to have the gizmo on for this, but you don't need it. Go to this point, and I'm going to pull it into the skull. Okay. Make sure it's placed where I want it. We'll go with right there. And then what I like to do, I make it watertight So if I was going to make this entire head one piece, I would need to make it watertight, but I like to still make it look separate. So I'll come through to the skin area, and we'll just put on Sculptress Pro for this. So it's nice and fast. And we're going to turn this on with jitter. Oops. There we go. And it can be whatever number. And then from there, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to start building up this around where, you know, the horn came out of the skin and the skin's kind of puffed up around it. You can go as crazy with it as you want to where it looks like it was ripped out through it. So using the snake hook, I'd say that this spot was a little more violent. Go to that, and that was BSH, snake hook right there. And you can just make this skin where it's coming out of as crazy as you would like to. All right. Turn jitter off. Now we can make it watertight. So I'm going to go up here to, actually I'll show you a different way to do it today. So I'm going to go up to Subtool, Merge Visible. Okay. And then now this is all one, I'm going to go down to Geometry, Modify Topology, close holes. But let's say that before I make it solid, I want this horn on this side, but I want it broken off. So this is the fun part about when you do merge, is I can take this, go down to Deformation, Mirror, and I can go mirror and weld. It's going to be mirroring from one side to the other, from your left to your right as you're looking at your screen. So make sure that you have what you want mirrored over, otherwise it won't copy. So now I'm going to, because there was no texture on this side, it took away the texture on that side. Okay, so just an example. But let's say that I want this horn snapped off. So a nice and easy way to do that is I come over here, Control, Shift, and then I'm going to do the knife curve. And I'm going to go slice like that. Okay, so now that I'm coming through with these. Actually, let's do clay buildup with the scatter pattern. And we're just going to come through and we're going to make it look organic. So by doing smoothing, both adding and taking away, we're going to make it look like it was snapped off. Okay. And then if you get these sharp ends, just probably push it back real quick. So now we got where that horn melted off. It's kind of cool. Now we can take this, unmask, and you can either go through live boolean, or if you turn on your gizmo, come back up to the gear, you can remesh by union. Right. So now, oh, that's not what I wanted. Go back to select, and we're going to do this, and you can see that is all one solid mesh. All right, those horns where they connect into the head is now one solid thing, but it still has this sharp connection point where it's going to look separate. Okay. You can go back a step. I can show you. Okay. So before I did that remesh by union, this is what it looks like. Okay, you have all this geometry that's overlapping. It's going to cause errors in your slicing software, and it just adds geometry that you don't need, so it makes the file bigger. So once again, come here. I like to have it centered. Click that. Remesh by union. It's going to run its process, and essentially it's making a boolean of it from there. And we have our watertight base to do that with. So hopefully y'all like that. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, like the video if you found it helpful, and I hope to see you on the next one. Get out there and create something.